Coach Trail, and I want to welcome you all here tonight for joining me. I always give this spiel, but I have to remember that my goal is to have new people follow the page, engage in our conversations week to week. So I want to make sure that I fully introduce myself. So again, my name is Coach Trail. I have been a natural for 14 years, almost 14 years, come October, I think. Um, the first 12 of those years, I stayed in protective styles, alternative styles, simply because I did not know how to properly care for my natural hair. And until almost 3 years ago, come August, I stumbled across a brand named Curl Mix, particularly for my daughter. I was impressed by her results, so I wanted to try it out for myself. And going into it, I did not think that my hair would do what I saw her hair do and the other ladies that was in the community. But I trusted the process. I stayed committed. I stayed consistent. I joined multiple and multiple master classes, and I learned how to master my wash and go. But not only did I learn to master my wash and go, I learned to care for my hair in all aspects. I learned how to properly wash my hair. I learned how to properly detangle my hair. I learned how to style my hair and wear my curls in its natural state. I found the confidence. I found the inspiration, the affirmations. Because of the community, I named my hair. I just learned to really fully love and embrace my hair in all aspects. Um, and so that took me about 4 or 5 months. I started in August. By February of 2023, I coached my first master class. And so when you're a coach in a master class with Curl Mix, you lead a master class of hundreds to a couple thousand people. And you lead them on a class for 21 days, showing them how to master their curls with the 4-step wash and go system. But you're using your technique, your practices, and you're sharing that with those individuals to help them find the confidence and the consistency and technique to, you know, ultimately to master their curls. I've coached about 4 or 5 master classes since that time frame. And just over that time, I just continued to fall in love with my hair, but also learning about natural hair, caring for natural hair. And so I redeveloped this childhood passion that I had for hair, that stumbled back up, and then I just started to take a deeper dive and learn more about my hair, not just my hair, but hair in general, what it takes to care for natural hair from the inside out. And so upon doing that, I wanted to share this information and but also be a resource to other struggling naturals who may be on this journey, but they want to be on a journey, or they just big chop, or they're thinking about it but they need guidance, they need support. And not everyone is in the Curl Mix community, but there's still a lot of women out there that needs support. And so I founded P.A.C.E Curly Coaching. And so at P.A.C.E Curly Coaching, it's a coaching service with me, Coach Trail, where we embrace the journey of curly hair with patience, acceptance, consistency, and education. That is the acronyms for P.A.C.E. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to name it, I thought about the principles that I needed and that I took to get myself on the journey of loving my hair, embracing my hair, and caring for it. And it was patience, it was consistency, it was acceptance and education. And so upon that, with doing all the research, reading, my own experiences from other girlfriends, and just sharing our stories, I wanted a space as we are tonight, so that I can share this information, because of everything that I share is researchable, it's Google, it's in books, it's in many multiple resources, but I wanted to bring it in one source and have a live conversation about it so that we could um, share our thoughts, opinions, experiences. And so I created Main Chat, and here we empower you with tips, tricks, and truth about embracing our natural hair. And so, as you are watching, whether you are a newbie, a seasoned natural, or somewhere in between, my hopes is that you find inspiration and education, and maybe even a little laughter along the way, because natural hair, it can have its challenges. It can be daunting depending on where you are in your journey. But here at P.A.C.E Curly Coaching and Main Chat, we want to make that experience more enjoyable and inspiring for you. So, welcome to Main Chat. Uh-oh. So, we are on part 11. So, we have done 11 Main Chat episodes. I can't even remember. I know I started in February, and I've missed a couple weeks because y'all know life be life, and sometimes you just got to take a break and regroup. But my goal is to always show up and provide y'all with a full conversation. I don't like to half do nothing, so if I can't do it right, I'm not gonna do it at all. So again, welcome to Main Chat. We are talking about retention and damage control. I always reference you if you have not, if you're just joining, this is your first time joining Main Chat, I always reference you to go back and catch up on the previous parts, because it's a building block process, and every week we're building on the information that we talked about from the weeks prior. So if you're just joining and you like, what is this girl talking about? No worries. The replays are available. Some of the older ones are coming in due time. But I can tell you, 5, 6, 8, and 9 are definitely pinned on the Main Chat. Not the Main Chat, but this page, P.A.C.E Coach Trail. You can definitely find those, and then the remainders will be coming soon. So we are talking about retention. Healthy hair is a way of life. If you want thriving, healthy, beautiful hair, it's a way of life. And having a plan is a necessary step in building healthy hair. So we ain't just wake up and just have beautiful, thriving hair. We came up with a plan, and I've shared in other live streams that when I first started my curl mix journey, I didn't think that it would work. And I did my first wash and go, and it did not look like the other ladies, but it looked like I had never seen my hair before. I saw my hair in this natural curl pattern. I was like, wow. But I knew that it could be better. And so with that, I asked questions, and I came up with a plan. And my plan was I would wash my hair every 3 to 4 days, no matter what my curl definition looked like. I would wash every 3 to 4 days consistently. I did that for a whole year. In that year, I did a total of 72 washes. I would deep condition every other wash. I only use Curl Mix products, but they have a lot of a lot of products within that brand, so I use a combination of those products. But it was shampoo, conditioner, a moisturizer, and a gel. And those were the 4 products I used. Occasionally, I would use like mousse, but I always consistently use those 4 products. And I would say by 6 months, well, no, by 90 days, I started to see a dramatic change in my curl pattern, in my hydration, in the longevity of my curls. So I knew that what I was doing was working, but I wanted to remain on that course. And so I kept going, and it was history from there. So here we are. So in the midst of having that plan for building healthy hair, it is essential that you understand your hair. We had a live stream on that. Understand your hair, your products, your practices, and your techniques. These practices will deliver you a successful hair care routine and results, and ultimately it's going to stimulate healthier hair and growth, which is the goal. If that's your goal, I told y'all a couple weeks ago, growth is not my goal. Well, at least up here it is, but all around here, I'm good. But for most people, growth is their goal. So, considering understanding your hair, your products, and your practices and your techniques will definitely help put you on the path of healthier hair. So when we talk about retention involves preserving the hair that grows from the scalp by protecting the ends. So I want to jump ahead of myself. But protecting your ends. As I stated before, our ends is the oldest part of our hair. And if we don't care for them, if we don't treat them, if we do not trim them, you will not see retention. Without retention, no visible length progress can be seen, although the scalp is continuing to push out new hair every day. Every day our hair is growing. So when people say my hair doesn't grow, your hair is growing. There's a lack, there's some type of damage or something going on that is preventing you from seeing that visible length. Length retention is strongly dependent on your personal hair care routine, and it requires consistent efforts to sustain that retention. New hair emerges. So we go and talk about retention. So new hair emerges, but it's not preserved at the ends. Then we again don't see any visible growth, no matter how fast or how much the hair grows from the scalp. So taking care of our ends is critical to preserving length. Just this evening, I went to go see my stylist. I try to go every 8 weeks. I think I was about 2 weeks off this particular rotation. But I went and saw her today. And I had cut my hair about 4 weeks ago, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so I was like, I don't need to go see my stylist. Like, I just cut my hair. I didn't. Well, I mean, a cut and a trim is, you putting scissors to hair, is getting cut. No matter how much or how little, it's getting cut. So I cut my hair, not a lot at the top, but definitely around here. And I was like, I don't need to go see her. But I was like, yes, I do. Because when you build that relationship with your hair and you know your hair will give you signs when it's in need of something. And as I was styling my hair, I was like, yep, I need to go get this trimmed. And then on top of that, I'm not a professional stylist. I'm not a cosmetologist. I hold no certifications when it comes to physically handling hair. But I did cut my hair, and so I was like, well, I need to go see her because, for one, I need her to spruce up, straighten up, tighten the cut that I did. And so she was like, I didn't do too bad. She was like, I didn't do bad. It just needed some cleaning up. So that's pretty much what she did. She cleaned up. She took her time. She's very thorough when it comes to like trimming your hair and making sure that you get off those ends, because not getting rid of those split ends, those dead ends, it will definitely travel up the hair strand. And I personally experienced that last year. I went 8 months without getting a trim, not even really like snipping and dusting my ends. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I just kept putting it off. And in December, I think it was December, I started to like want to wear alternative styles outside of wash and go. So I started blowing my hair out and doing these different styles, and I blew it out. And like my ends felt so rough and crunchy and dry, and then it was like loving on each other. And I was like, why is my hair doing this? And so I gave my own self a trim. Coach Trail is not afraid to put scissors to her hair. I've always been that way, and it's not, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I've never been afraid to cut my hair if I need to or just because I want to. But I trimmed it. It felt a little bit better, but the determining factor was I blew it out and I did a video, and I was trying to get ready to post the video. And I actually did share this video on my page. And when I was going to look at the video to post it, I was like, hold up. Why? Like literally at the root of my hair, you can see like my hair was, you can see the thickness of the hair. And then like from the halfway to the ends, it was just see through. And I was like, that is not right. Something is wrong with that. And that was because I went so long without getting my ends trimmed, and those splits traveled up. And I mean, ultimately, it damaged my hair. So it gave me the opportunity to get this look, which is what I've been wanting for quite some time. So, it worked out, it worked itself out. But the whole point of that is you have to preserve your ends. You have to take care of your ends if you want to see the retention of your hair. So, hair growth may appear to be slow, although new hair is always growing from the scalp. If your retention is poor, then your hair length and thickness may remain unchanged over time. So, some things to consider when we're talking about, okay, what is it that I can do? So, achieving length takes a change in attitude, your perception, and as I like to say, abandoning those old wise tales of an old way of thinking about how we care for our hair. When you want something new and different, you have to change your mindset. That's one of the biggest things when we're talking about embracing our natural hair, loving our hair, caring for it. You have to have a change of mindset. If you're going into new hair thinking old ways, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the results that you want because you're doing old practices in new territory. So making these changes require an exploration of new techniques and caring for our hair. And so this occurs through a proactive approach that emphasizes on your proper product selection, reducing hairstyling that has a lot of manipulation, and having a effective protein and moisture balance to keep breakage at bay. That is definitely a conversation that we'll be having in the weeks to come. But that protein moisture balance is very critical when we're talking about keeping breakage at bay. So poor retention along the ends is often due to a few categories of hair damage. So usually when we're not seeing the retention that we want, or we're not seeing no retention at all, there's some damage going on. So let's talk about how do we identify what some of that damage may be, and some things that we can do to prevent further damage and control or eliminate what we are currently experiencing now. If you are just joining me, please make sure you let me know where you're checking in at on the chat. For whatever reason, I can't. Okay, I do see it says I got 6 comments. Let's see if I can see what the comments say. I want to engage with the people. Let's see. I feel like every time I get on Facebook, something changes. And then, or is it that I ain't been on here in so long? Oh, come on. Uh-oh. I can't see. I can't see the comments. Okay, now it's saying I got 8 comments. Let's see. Is it dashboard? No. Okay, so I don't want to keep clicking all over the page. And I lose y'all? So I'm gonna just have to check the comments out later. Here we go. It is not. Oh well. Anyways, so I apologize. I can't see the comments, and I don't want to be here all night trying to figure out why. Um, yeah. So let's talk about causes of hair damage. And a lot of this information is stuff that we've probably heard before. But sometimes we can hear stuff in our past fairly recently, and then you hear it again, and it's like the light bulb go off. You be like, oh, you have that aha moment. I still have aha moments. So, causes of damaged hair. So, when we are taking care of our textured hair with the best intentions, we're going to come across we're going to face some type of damage or another. But understanding the major sources of hair damage is going to be your first step towards achieving healthier hair. So, as I stated before, we use low manipulation hairstyles. And so the less that we are touching in our hair, the less physical manipulation we are causing to our hair. Texture hair, physical manipulation to texture hair is a major cause of hair damage. That physical damage can come from excessive manipulation, tension and handling of the hair. That can be your washing process, your detangling process, the use of heat producing tools, frequently brushing and wrapping of the hair, wearing braids that are too tight, aggressive combing, wet brushing, or just simply sliding or hairpin can contribute to physical hair damage. Blow dryers, flat irons, rubber bands, poorly made accessories can cause damage. And as I stated, shampooing and conditioning in a manner that encourages the hair to tangle can lead to physical damage. I've shared with you guys before that. But when I started my journey, I didn't know how to properly wash my hair. I knew how to clean my scalp, but I was all over the place and just having the time of my life. And then when it came to detangling was a hot mess. I didn't know how to detangle, so when I was detangling, I'm starting at the roots and pulling and just horrible. So all of those things can contribute to hair damage. So that's the physical manipulation part. Environmental factors can damage our hair fibers. The ultraviolet rays from the sun and extreme temperatures. So we talk about like when we're outside. I know for me personally, like on a lot of weekends I have to be outside because my kids, they run track, and I live in Florida, so it be hot. So investing in sun hats, particularly ones that may be satin lined. In this era of a new generation of naturals, you can almost find anything to protect your hair that's satin lined, from your scrunchies to your bonnets to your pillowcases, your ball cap, like baseball hats for ladies that like to wear baseball hats. They have those satin lined. Beach hats, sun hats. Even if you can't find one that's satin lined, you can get a piece of satin cloth, sit it on the top of your hair, and then put your hat on. But you want to protect your hair from the rays of the extreme temperature. So being outside in those Florida heat, Texas heat, probably that California heat, yeah, you want to definitely that can affect your hair. Pollens in the atmosphere, heavily chlorinated swimming pools, the ocean, hard water are all common environmental contributors that can fade our hair color and disrupt the eternal internal moisture balance of the strands, ultimately leading to hair damage. Um, Other causes of hair damage can be our dietary or nutritional deficiencies. We talked about, from the inside of our body, if we got stuff going on, it affects our hair. This can lead to a negative impact, a negative effect of the hair before it even emerges through the scalp. So the proper balance of vitamins and minerals is critical to a healthy head of hair. So taking care of our insides is can cause hair damage. And then this one we're probably very familiar with. Chemical processing. Um, it results in damaged hair. And any permanent chemical alterations, no matter how well executed, brings about some degree of eternal damage to the hair strand. Excuse me. Once chemicals are applied, the internal structure of the hair is changed forever and cannot be returned to its original state. And we touched on that in I just edited this part today. I think part 3, part 4. We talked about hair bonds and the growth cycle. I explained the different, the hair bonds and how it affects, how those hair bonds, their role that they play when it comes to our hair. And so it's the disulfide bond. I think I said it right. That's the bond that can only be damaged from chemicals. And once that bond is broken, it cannot be restored. You either growing it out or you're big chopping. But when you see people that's in that transitional stage, that's where they are. Where did I leave off at? Okay, so the amount of damage done to the hair fiber depends greatly on the knowledge and experience of the individual performing the process. I know I'm guilty of it, had that friend, that cousin, that auntie, or somebody that was dyeing their hair, and we was like, "Oh, you did a good job. Come dye my hair." I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. So we've all been there, and so if you're going to engage in chemical processing, please let it be a professional. Let it be a professional. Somebody that knows what they're doing. As I just said, like, no matter how well executed you intend to do a chemical process, it's going to cause some eternal damage because you're breaking a bond in the hair strand, something that cannot be restored. But it can be done in a better form, but either way it go, it's going to alter that hair strand. But don't let your cousin, your auntie, your friend, don't go to a professional. So building a solid haircut plan that protects against damage and breakage through strategic product selection and other maintenance techniques is critical to maintaining your damage control. So when we're talking about building a solid haircut plan, you want to focus on being proactive strategies such as minimizing manipulation and use of protective styles. You want to think about your product selection. Opt for products that maintain moisture and protein balance. It's a balance. So too much moisture is damaging to the hair. Too much protein is damaging to the hair. It has to be a balance. And then we talk about our maintenance and techniques, regular care to prevent and address breakage. So conditioning. I'm a firm believer in deep conditioning, but deep conditioning, over deep conditioning can, make the hair mushy, but it's a balance thing. But deep conditioning, especially if you're trying to get your hair in a more hydrated state, a more flourishing state, deep conditioning, getting your trims. As I stated today, I went and saw my stylist partnering with a stylist, I think that goes into our routine and building a plan and caring for our hair. As I share, I'm not a licensed cosmetologist, a stylist, a chemist, a scientist. I'm not any of those things. But you want to have professionals. I'm a hair coach, but I have a stylist that I go see every 8 weeks, again based off of my stylist recommendations. I go see her as needed for my trims when I got my hair colored, even though we didn't use any bleach, but it's still coloring, it's still a chemical processing. She told me what my weekly regimens and product selection should be to care for my hair. um Working with a specialist, working with a stylist, having that person that you can go to for expert advice is one thing. Yes, we can Google, we can use our resources to troubleshoot our hair problems and situations, but it's nothing like having a professional, somebody that you're going to see on a consistent basis, where you're going to be telling them what's going on with your hair. They're the professional, they're the expert, and then they can give you the recommendations that you need. So I definitely encourage you to find a natural stylist that knows about natural hair, that knows about trimming natural hair, cutting natural hair. I also do feel like, while we're talking about trimming, um, even though we wear our hair in a curly state, having your hair blown out and really assessing your ends, because when our hair is in a curly state, it can hide a lot of damage. And that's exactly what was going on. Like, if I, y'all, well, I'm going to post pictures. I can't say y'all seeing my hair, but before I blew my hair out in December, my hair looked really nice. It looked really good. I was not having any issues detangling, getting through my hair. Like, I was fine. But when I blew it out, I really got to see my hair in its blown out state and assess my ends. And there was some stuff going on that could have been prevented. So my opinion, and consult with your stylist or whoever it is that you are partnering with to maintain your hair. But doing a blowout, I'm not saying adding like the flat iron, no silk. I ain't getting no silk press. But blowing your hair out and really assessing your ends, can tell you some real truths about the healthiness and state of your hair. So that is my presentation for tonight on retention and identifying different causes of damage. So if these are something that you are experiencing right now, or you're not sure, that's why P.A.C.E Curly Coaching is here. I'm not a stylist, but I can help point you in the right direction. I can give you recommendations. I can give you suggestions to help you get on that journey. There used to be a directory of different curl stylists in different states. I don't think that directory is available anymore, but I have a whole community of curl mixers that are all over the states, that they can send recommendations or suggestions. The only thing is, it might not be one that's in your area. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to take that drive if need be? Are you willing to hop on a flight? Because my stylists have had people fly from wherever to sit in her chair so that she can take care of their hair. So it just depends on how committed you are to your journey, to the health of your hair. But P.A.C.E Curly Coaching is here to assist you, guide you, and support you. So if you, so my website is ready, y'all. Remember I kept telling y'all that I was working on my website. My website is ready. So you can go to PACECurlyCoaching.com and you can book a free Q&A assessment, and we can talk about your hair, what your hair goals is, where your hair is right now, what your challenges are, and get you started on a healthy hair journey. So I want to go in the comments, but it won't let me. I seen that I had some comments and I can't see them, y'all. I don't know why Facebook be doing that to me. I don't know why Facebook be doing that to me. I'm gonna have to wait until I get off the stream to see what's going on in the comments. Yeah, it's not giving me. It's not giving me. But that is our presentation for tonight. I really do appreciate you guys joining me. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything that we've discussed from now to all the way back to part one. I'm here to encourage and support you guys on your journey because I know what it's like to not understand your hair or not even how to care for your hair. But you want to let go of the flat irons or you want to let go of the relaxer. You tired of wearing the afro or your puffs or your slick backs or whatever it is. You want to come out the wig. I get it. I've been there. So we're here to help you and support you along the way. We are here. So next week we'll be taking a dive into the term hydration and what that means for the health of black hair. You've probably heard me say hydration multiple times, thousands of times throughout all of my different lives. And so now we're going to dive into what that means when it comes to our hair. So, because I can't see any comments, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go and go back through and see if I can see them afterwards. But I greatly appreciate you guys joining me tonight, taking time out of your Wednesday night to join me. My goal is always to keep it under an hour. But if the conversation is good, then the conversation will continue. But I can't get into my I can't see the comments, so we can keep the conversation going. But thank you guys for joining. Again, please make sure you share the live, tag a friend. If you are in need of Coach Trell curly coaching services, you can go to PACEcurlycoaching.com and book a free Q&A hair assessment, or you can send me a DM. You can send me a DM. But that is all I have for you all tonight. That is my spiel. I hope you have a great night, and I will catch you on the next one.